Hello, hello, everyone. Nice to have you here. It has been a while since I did a live stream. Hope everyone is well. I hope everyone had a great day. And so, the purpose of this live, whether you're watching now or you'll watch the recording later, I just want to answer a few questions. And I'm also going to showcase a few upcoming projects that I'm working on. So just to get things organized, what I'm going to do is answer common questions and clarifications. So I'll take a few questions that students have asked me, some questions that you should be asking, and also just questions I've heard over the years. And by the way, if you're new here and you don't know who I am, I'm ESL teacher Lisa. I've been teaching 13 plus years. I started teaching kids early in my career and switched over to adults. I just really enjoy helping adults improve their English conversation skills. So that's really what I like to do. So the second batch that I will focus on after common questions and clarifications is answer requests for advice. So many students over the years have asked me for advice. And so if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments. Also, I will grab some questions, prepared questions that I have, again, what students have asked me in the past, or even questions you should be asking. And then I will take a few questions on expressions of concern. There's some things that concern you as you are language learners. So if you're joining the live stream, you can say hello in the chat, or on the replay, I'll make sure to answer all of the comments. I'm going to try to have more live streams. I'm going to have 2 more this week, probably around the same time. I'll definitely send out a post or a notification. And it's a good way to give me feedback, what kind of videos you'd like to see, any questions that you have regarding your English language journey, and any of your struggles. So I love getting feedback, so it lets me know what I should be creating to help you, and also what's on your minds and what's working, what's not working, and just connect with you. So that's really the purpose of the stream. So I'm going to put the questions on the screen that you can see each one. And I haven't streamed in a while, so if I have any technical difficulty, I'll let you know. First, let me just say I'm really happy that I can help anyone progress just a little bit in English. It makes me really happy when you are able to build just a little bit more confidence, and so that's important. You should really celebrate any little progress that you see, and you should be tracking your progress for sure. So also, for those that don't know, I am streaming from the Philippines currently. This is where I currently live for the time being. Some of you might have taken my classes when I lived in Texas. I lived there for several years. And maybe even from my New York days. I lived in New York most of my life. And so you might have been in one of my classes, whether it's in person or online. So it's really nice when I can connect with you. So let's get started. I'm going to see if I can put up the questions as we go. It keeps everything organized. And again, don't be afraid to put your question in the comments. I noticed, because my channel is an ESL English language learning channel, many of you are shy to type in the comments. So don't worry about spelling or grammar. Just get your main idea out there. Don't be ashamed or shy to put something in the comments that you don't understand or that you want to ask me. That's perfectly fine. All right, so let's look at the first question. Okay. So, how important is it to learn English grammar rules compared to just practicing speaking? I actually get that question quite a bit. How important is grammar rules? So I'm going to read a prepared answer that I have, and then I'm going to build on it. So I'm going to answer the question directly, and then I'll build on it. And again, if you have any other comments or questions, just go ahead and put it in the comments and I'll take a look at it after. So here's the answer. Grammar is like the skeleton of a language. It gives you structure, but speaking is the muscle. You need a bit of both. You don't need to memorize every single grammar rule, but a basic understanding of key grammar points will help you build correct sentences. I would say focus 80% on speaking and 20% on targeted grammar practice. Now, that 80-20 rule really goes for if you're an intermediate speaker. If you are a beginner or lower level, you would be more heavy on the grammar. But once you know the basic structure of a sentence, basic grammar, you should then switch to focusing on speaking more, continuing to boost vocabulary. What I notice is students still place too much emphasis on grammar and tenses. I did a video on the 12 tenses, reviewing the 12 tenses, and there's a free worksheet out there. I'm going to show you where you can find that video, but you need to be speaking more. If you've been working with me for a while, or you had some connection with me, you know that I often will say the secret to becoming a more fluent speaker is to speak more. Speak more. That's really it. Spend more time speaking, but on a variety of topics. You have to vary the topics and subjects that you speak about. It works. It works. Let me tell you, I've been doing this for 13 plus years and it works. I've seen students come and struggle and be shy and they can't speak well. And after just a few weeks, a few months, it often doesn't even take months. After several weeks of talking about different subjects that they normally don't talk about, wow, you start to see the fluency and the confidence skyrocket. So English grammar rules are important if you're a beginner, lower level, not as important at an intermediate level to advanced level. You have enough grammar to speak. Okay, so that answers that question. Let's move on to the next question. How can I stop translating in my head from my native language when I speak? So let me read a prepared answer for you and then I will build on it. And if you found any ways that helped you, certainly leave your comment below. It can help other students if there's anything you found that helped you. So here's the sample answer. This is a huge challenge. The best way to overcome it is to start thinking in English. So a great practice for this is narration. Here's an example of that. As you go about your day, simply narrate what you're doing in English in your head. For example, I am walking to the kitchen to get a glass of water. So it builds the neutral pathways to think directly in the language. So narrate what you're doing. I am picking up the toothbrush now and brushing my teeth. I will use the comb and comb my hair. So doing those things, narrate your day. It helps you to start using vocabulary words, put the sentences together. So again, it's just a good practice of going directly into the language. And so if you do that often enough, you'll get more comfortable. But overall, I would say don't worry about this too much. I know it does bother some students. I'm still translating in my head. And you do that at a lower level. You do that because you don't have enough vocabulary, or you're not comfortable with the vocabulary, why you have to still translate. It's not at the point where it's natural to just think of, for example, an object and then the word in that target language, in this case, English. So I would say don't worry about it as much. As you start to increase your level, you naturally will stop translating in your head. Think about it. If you have learned another language, so I assume you have at least one native language plus English, but let's say you've already learned another language. Some of you might speak 3 languages or 4 languages. Didn't at some point you stop translating in your head? Yes, you did. You did. So don't worry about this too much. I know students panic. Oh, I'm still translating in my head. You have to. You have to. It's fine. This goes away as you continue to increase your level and your fluency. So don't worry about this one too much. Don't stress too much about it. But narrating your day is a good way to start that process. Okay, let's look at the next question. Hello, I see someone joined us. Hi, how are you? You can just say where you're watching from. Nice to have you. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the comments. The next question is, some students have said, I feel like I've reached a plateau. How can I push my English skills to the next level? So I'm going to give you the prepared answer that I have, and then I'll build on that if you have any additional questions. So to be clear, right, a plateau is flat. So some feel that, oh, okay, well, I'm doing really great, and then I just hit this plateau where I'm not improving. So here's my prepared answer. So plateaus are normal. It means you've built a solid foundation. To break through, you need to change your routine. Try focusing on a specific challenging area you've been avoiding. For example, if you've been avoiding complex sentence structures, try writing a short story or a detailed email that forces you to use them. Right? Pushing past your comfort zone is key. So that last phrase, pushing through your comfort zone. So try to do things that are more difficult. So my channel focuses more on speaking, hence ESL Speaking Corner. Try to speak about more advanced topics. I love it when I have a student that says to me after I ask a conversational question, and then they say to me, oh, wow, Teacher Lisa, that's a difficult one. I never thought about that. I love that, because it means they have to push through and really come up with an idea or something to say about that particular topic. So in regards to speaking, I would say, are you really speaking about some challenging topics? One of my favorite questions to talk to students about is this one. I'll give you an example. It's usually one of the first ones that I ask when I have a conversation class with someone, like a one-on-one. If you've been in my class before, you might remember this question. Do you think you would ever write a book about your life? Could you do it? Why or why not? Would you write an autobiography, a book about your life? A lot of students have never thought about that. And that's what I mean by pushing your English skills to the next level. Could you answer that, and how would you answer that? So get these really complex topics. Here's another one for you. Do you think the internet is a want or a need? Some people say we need food, water, a place to live, the internet. So they're adding the internet in with our basic needs. Do you think it's a need or a want? Maybe you've never thought about that. But what do you have to do? Put together the words that you need, put together a sentence structure, and then present your idea in a concise, understandable way. And so when you do that often enough, you start to really push your English skills up. So that's what I mean. I'm working on releasing a set of my proven questions, conversational questions like the ones I just gave you examples for, so that teachers and tutors can purchase it, or you as a student can bring it to your lessons with you. That's what I notice. A lot of students, yes, I know the expectation is that your teacher or tutor will have the questions for you. Like, hey, this is a conversation class, you as a teacher should be prepared. But have you ever thought as a student, like if it's a private one-on-one, you can bring your own conversation questions and discuss those with the teacher? So what if you had like 100 pre-made questions? Wouldn't that be great? Instead of relying on the teacher. And sometimes the teacher might not be asking you questions that really are pushing your English speaking skills. So just think about that. That's a sneak peek at one of my projects that I'm working on, is releasing the proven questions that I found interesting and that really work well in conversation, that pushes a student, gets them to think, gets them really to process English, and then speak. Let's look at the next question. So some students have asked, what's the most effective thing I can do outside of class for just 15 minutes a day? Yeah, I love this question because you don't need 1 or 2 or 3 hours a day of learning, 15 hours a day. Before I answer this, I do want to say the most important thing that I've seen over the years, and I've had hundreds of students, if not thousands of students over the years, and I would say consistency is the key. It's not really time. Time is important, yes, but I'd rather see a student do something 15 minutes a day working on English, reading, listening, speaking, doing something for 15 minutes a day than a student that comes and just does 1 hour every single day for a month and then you don't see them for 4 months. They take a 4 month break and then they start again. Consistency is key. It doesn't have to be like 1 hour a day of language learning. It can just be 15 minutes. So let's listen to the prepared answer that I have, and then I'll build on that. So 15 minutes is all you need for a powerful habit. So my top recommendation is to either have a mini conversation with yourself in English, right? If you don't have a tutor or teacher, or read a short article and summarize it out loud. These activities force you to produce language, right? Speech production to produce language and help you to identify where you're still struggling. So even if you're talking to yourself, where are you struggling? Is it the vocabulary that's not coming? Is it putting the words together? What is it? I want to go back to now that idea of mini conversation. Yeah, 15 minutes is enough to have a mini conversation. You don't need 1 hour. That is enough. But some of you might not be able to connect with a tutor 15 minutes a day. So you have to talk to yourself. That's perfectly fine. We talked earlier about narrating your day. I am going to the kitchen to make breakfast. I will get eggs and bacon. And so doing that, narrating, is a good way to have a conversation with yourself, or ask yourself a question and answer it yourself. If you can't speak to somebody every day for 15 minutes in English, speak to yourself. That works well too. Okay, let's go to the next question. Oh, this is a big one. I feel nervous and embarrassed when I speak English in front of native speakers. Do you have any tips for building my confidence? Great question. I love this question. I actually did a interview with JD about this very topic. It's on my channel. It's probably 4 videos ago, so it's fairly recent. And we had probably a 30-minute conversation about this very topic. Many of you tell me that in your native country, in your culture, you get made fun of, teased, embarrassed. People say things when you speak in English in front of others. They pull you down. They put you down, push you down, whatever. They don't encourage you to speak English and you feel nervous and embarrassed. That's a huge problem if you're trying to increase your speaking confidence. So what can you do? Well, definitely go back and watch that interview with JD. I really appreciate her doing it. She's not a native English speaker, but it took a lot for her to do the video and also to share tips to help what helped her to become more confident. So let me read you the prepared answer that I have and I'll build on that. If you have a question for me, you can go ahead and put it in the comments. That's fine. So I see someone entered the room. So here's my canned answer. Okay, so first, know that this is completely normal. Feeling nervous speaking English. It's completely normal. Even native speakers get nervous. The most effective way to build confidence is to reframe your mindset. Let me repeat that. Reframe your mindset. You're not being judged necessarily. You're not being judged. You're sharing a part of yourself, right? When you speak English, you're sharing a part of yourself. This is what you need to do. Start small. talk to people in low pressure situations. So, what are those low pressure situations? I have two examples, like ordering coffee or asking for directions. Like every small success will build on the next. And I also did two videos recently on those very things, ordering coffee and asking for directions, because it's low pressure and doing that in English. I had a student, and she might watch this replay. Her name is Maria, and she lives in Mexico. She's heard me tell the story before, but she crosses the border. She lives in Mexico and she has a visa to cross the border. She crosses the border and she goes to a little store shop and she buys something inexpensive like a pack of gum or some candy. And she practices, talking to the cashier. It could be something like, "Hi, how are you today? How much is this?" Just a little bit of exchange verbally. And that helps to build confidence. And when you're done with that small exchange, you feel like, oh, it's over. I didn't die. Or ordering your favorite cup of coffee and doing it successfully. I've also shared this before. I had a student that had an issue with her bank account. Money was taken out of her bank account. She had to go to the teller, and she was so happy that she didn't need a translator, even though it was offered to her. She's a native Spanish speaker. It was offered to her, and she said, "No, I can speak English." She was in my in-person class at the time when I was in Texas, and she came and shared with the class. She was so happy. She spoke 1 hour, all English, in the bank and resolved her issue. She was so happy that she was able to do that. And guess what? That really boosted her confidence to be comfortable in the next situation where she had to speak English. So start small, but you've got to do it. Talk to your neighbor, say hello, how are you? How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun on the weekend? Those little questions, low pressure situations really help build confidence. So those are my tips. And just one more thing about reframing your mindset. I know it's easier said than done, but don't worry about the people that might be joking or laughing or pointing. Keep doing it because they're not trying to help you improve. They're not going to help you find and get a better job. They're not going to help you on your English test that's coming up. They're not going to help you pay for a bill that you have and you're looking for a better job and you need to improve your English. So just keep going. Just keep going despite feeling nervous and embarrassed. You need to rise above that. There's really no shortcut. Just do it. Speak English. You just need to do it. And you don't need to do it perfectly. And you can say to them, "At least I'm trying." You can say something like that. Be tactful about it, but you can say, "At least I'm trying. I'm trying to improve my English, okay?" Just say that. They'll be quiet. Just tell them, "Be quiet. I'm trying to improve my life." And I say that because English can help you do that in some respects. Okay. Let's go to the next. We're getting there. Oh, okay. We are at the end. Those are the questions that I had prepared for today. I have several more, and I'll just do a few lives later on in the week. So hopefully you'll catch the replay of this one if you weren't able to join. So this is a preview of my next project. Hope to have this out by end of September, early October. And it's a full idioms course. It's called Going to New York. It's a fun way to learn common idioms, and it's for intermediate ESL students. So what it is it is a workbook that has an audio track, a dialogue between these two characters. We have Takashi, he's from Japan, and we have Matthias from Brazil. And they go to New York and they want to learn English together. And I ran a similar class. Some of you might have even been in a previous idioms class that is based on this, but I've really structured it now for my own workbook and my own audio. So I'm just working on finish putting everything together. And this is what I'll say to introduce this course. So this is going to be completely on YouTube, and then what we'll do is we'll have some live sessions so we can answer questions and kind of go over some of the coursework that's in this book. But I want to give you this piece of data that might be shocking regarding idioms. Do you know how often a native English speaker uses idioms? And first of all, what are idioms? Before I give you that, idioms are expressions, they're not literal, that we use in English. Every language has idioms that we use in English that isn't literal to express an idea. And you can't look at the individual words. Those words combined create a new meaning. So, for example, it's raining cats and dogs, right? It's raining cats and dogs. It means it's raining very heavy. It's not literally raining a cat or a dog. It just means it's raining heavy. So that's an idiom. Or maybe a piece of cake. A lot of you might have heard that. It's a piece of cake. It has nothing to do with dessert or cake. It just means it's easy. So that's what I mean when I talk about idioms. Native speakers use them like crazy. We use idioms on average every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, think about that. A native English speaker uses idioms. So you need to learn them. And this is often why I've had students that tell me they moved to the US for a job, their own job or their mate's job, their husband or wife's job, and they thought they had a level of English enough to communicate, and then they have to sign up for English classes, and if I happen to get them, they say, "Oh my goodness, Teacher Lisa, I don't understand anything anybody's saying. I don't understand people when they talk. They're just saying these strange phrases." It's because they never learned idioms or they don't know enough of them. So this course is going to teach you those common idioms. We'll learn anywhere from 10 to about 16 per conversation. There's about 20 conversations in this course. And so this is the step by step. First, you're going to listen to the audio. That's the first thing. Listen to the conversation between these two guys. It's either between them or whoever else they're meeting in the story, like their English teacher, immigration officer, classmate. So you're going to listen to those conversations. First, you will not see the words. Straight listening. Second, then you read the dialogue. This is often called shadowing. Some of you might know that term, shadowing. So you listen and then you say it. So you're shadowing. So if you missed anything from the listening, you'll catch up with it in the written dialogue. Then we take those highlighted idioms that are in the dialogue and then you do a matching, meaning you have to find the idiom and match it with the correct definition. Once you do that, the final step is you put everything together and you reread the dialogue. So I'm going to be videotaping these classes. You'll have an opportunity to purchase the workbook. It'll be very low priced, so you can follow along. And really, you will be able to take this course at your own pace because you don't need to show up at an exact time at a physical location or even online. Even online, you have to show up at an exact time. So it's going to be pre-recorded, but you can still participate. And then we'll have a live. We'll probably do a live maybe at the end of the week and review some of those lessons. If any of you have questions, it's a great way to ask questions still about the conversation. So I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be really, really great. So please keep your notifications on. I'll definitely post it in the community so you can join. Okay. So that's all in terms of the questions, upcoming projects. There's another thing I want to share with you is my other channels. So I'll just put it in the comment section so you can check there. Let me see if I can share a screen. Just a second. It's been a while since I've done this. So let me see if I can share my screen up. Here we go. Let's see if it does it. Okay, here we go. Yeah. One second. Let's see if I can highlight this one. Okay, there we go. Now you can see. All right. So I'm sharing screen so that you can see the other projects that I'm working on and what I was also referencing earlier to you. Um, these are the dialogues, excuse me, these are the short dialogues that I did with JD. So you can start giving directions in English. So you can check this one out. Okay. And also this one. This is the first day at the office. You also have worksheets with these. And then we did a PDF that has all of these short dialogues. This is the interview that I did with JD about don't be afraid to speak English. So please watch that one. And then what I want to show you, I'm just going to scroll down here. This is another good one about word stress. And here I actually also had an interview with JD and Natty. She's our resident ex-nurse, so it was actually an interesting conversation, interview with those two, and so I thank them for that. So here's the community post that I'm talking about, so just keep an eye on that. I'll definitely post it there when that course is ready. The other two projects that I've been working on is ESL Job Talk. So if you need interview help, I've sort of separated that content and put it on my ESL Job Talk, so you can subscribe there. And I just started that channel, so there's a few videos there, but I'm going to add to it. And then I started Lisa's Story Corner. And this is if you have kids and you want them to start really learning English through reading. I have books that I personally put together and read aloud. And so it always teaches a lesson, and it's a good way for students, young students, if you have kids, even adults. I had an adult that enjoyed hearing me read in my books, and she's learning words that way. So even for you, you can go to Lisa's Story Corner. Okay. And then I also have a playlist on overcoming fear of speaking English. So we talked about that you really have to overcome that fear. It can hold you back. And so I have several videos that I've done about this topic, the most recent with my interview with JD, and how to conquer your fear, 10 easy steps. So check that out. And also, what's holding you back? Is it time to get a teacher? Do you even need a teacher? So definitely try to check those out. Okay. So hopefully you've gotten some questions answered. I hope so. I'm going to put in the comments the link to the other two channels. That way you can easily find it. And also I had a video about the tenses. I mentioned the grammar. So if you wanted to review those tenses, you can find that I think it's called 12 Tenses overview on my channel. So you can check that out. So I'll put the Lisa Story Corner if you wanted to look at that. And let me get the other one for you. And again, if you have any questions, just go ahead and put it in the comments. I will check it even if you're not able to join the live stream. So I know it was kind of short notice. I didn't give a lot of notice for this live stream, so I know many of you might be watching it after the fact. But I'll try to give more notice or try to do these regularly. I definitely will be doing them regularly when I do the idiom course. I definitely be doing them regularly. So that's it for now. So hopefully I gave you some motivation, answered some of the questions that you had, and feel free to leave anything in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will keep pushing out more content. So everybody have a great day. Those that were able to join even briefly, thank you for joining, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.